Last year, firefighters from all over the state of Minnesota dedicated a new memorial to the 207 firefighters who passed away in the line of service since 1881. Sacrifice was a word heard continuously. As we pause to remember our departed brothers and sisters this Memorial Day weekend, I felt it an appropriate time to speak to you this afternoon about this job and the word sacrifice. Sacrifice is, of course, giving up something of value in order to attain something even more precious. In the case of a line of duty death, it's easy to associate sacrifice with the giving of one's life at the end of that life. But it's not the manner in which they died that's the true sacrifice, but it's the way they lived each day. For all firefighters, including those who successfully navigate the hazards of a dangerous and deadly career and make it to retirement, sacrificial service is a lifestyle. It's paid in installments of interrupted dinners, missed birthdays and anniversaries, suddenly leaving the paid job to run off to a volunteer job, and the constant interruption of family time, always dropping what you're doing when the pager goes off and running out the door to help someone else. As a firefighter, you actually pledge that sacrifice at the very start of your career when you first raise your hand and take the oath, and when you first pin on the badge. Brooklyn Park Fire Chief Ken Perlman once challenged a group of fire chiefs with this question: what job is so dangerous that you're asked to swear in front of your family, friends, and God that you'll willingly sacrifice your life for others if you need to, and you're required to take that oath before you're even allowed to join the organization? I could think of only three that require such an upfront oath: the clergy, the U.S. military, and the public safety profession made up of peace officers, emergency medical responders, and firefighters. The word sacrifice itself comes from two Latin words meaning holy or sacred. It's by its very nature, a sacrifice isn't about giving up something, it's about making your life into something holy, something to be deeply revered and honored. We can make our lives holy by living the principles of the American Fire Service moments and minutes and hours at a time for a lifetime. The reason we take time to memorialize and remember our brothers and sisters who passed on before us is that their lives are living monuments to the core values of the American Fire Service: courage, strength, honor, integrity, bravery. They live lives that repeatedly reflected how our service first started out and what has endured as core principles of the American Fire Service today. Upstanding young men and women from their communities stepping up to help their neighbor and their towns in times of crisis. It's critically important to remember firefighters after they pass away because their lives created a better department, a better community, a better society through their work. They contributed to the moral fiber and the lasting values that make our society better. We live in a world that seems shattered at times by greed, corruption, indifference, poverty, and fear. Models of courage, strength, dedication, and service to others seem to be in awfully short supply. The actions and lives of men like the one that we remember here this weekend become like beacons to others. As important as these annual memorial ceremonies are, the very best way to remember our fallen brothers and sisters is to emulate their actions and their lives and model our own lives after the high principles they lived during their fire service career. If we create service lives that reflect the values they stood for, then the very best part of them never dies. It lives on in us. The fallen don't lie in a cold, desolate tomb. They live within the warm, beating hearts of those who truly remember. As Fire Chief Rick Lasky once said, "Never forgetting means never forgetting." This weekend, as we pay tribute to those who passed away this last year, we have the opportunity to recommit to making our sacrificial lives of service the living graveyards of those who've gone before us, and thus ensure they'll never be forgotten. So as you leave your station this weekend to enjoy your days with the loved ones, how do you plan to live your sacrifice on a daily basis? How will you make your life and your life's work holy and sacred, something worthy of honor, something to be revered? It's going to be up to each of you to find a way to make your job as firefighter or chief officer a lifestyle of reverent service to other people. But I do have a couple of suggestions based on the lifetime examples of those we honor this weekend. First, answer the call. Respond to the bell or pager when it rings, every time it rings. Stand up like that first American firefighter, drop what you're doing, and go help your neighbor when they're in trouble. That's what we do, and that's what we've always done. Be responsible. Keep yourself able to respond through training and certification, keeping yourself in good physical condition and being mentally ready to respond to the call. Be reverent in your care. The late Pope John Paul II preached that every person was precious, unique, and of irreplaceable value. Treat them as such. Sometimes it's easy to ignore a customer's true needs, to minimize his or her problems, to hurry up and get back into service. People know when they're being shortchanged, so don't short them by minimizing their feelings or their emergency. Treat more than the customer. Everyone we serve has some connection to family, friends, and social groups in their lives, and you strengthen all those connections when you deliver exceptional service. Always remember that the work that you do, good or bad, indelibly marks the lives of the people you serve, their families, their businesses, the community, and society. Be great teammates and great team leaders. You know, as important as firefighters are, the fact is that bystanders, dispatchers, first responders, paramedics, maintenance and security personnel, and the customers themselves are all vital to the success of an emergency incident. Share freely your expertise and experience with everyone on the team and make them feel included and appreciated. Be humble. It's easy to feel very special as a firefighter. You are, after all, a member of a very exclusive group. But never allow yourself to adopt an attitude of superiority or arrogance. Be ready for your losses too, because they will come. We will not save all of our patients or all of the property we respond to. Budget and policy decisions won't always go our way, and we won't garner everyone's support. Be humble in your successes. It'll make it easier to accept things when your very best efforts don't result in a good outcome. Accept the setbacks the same way I hope you'll treat your patients, with dignity and grace. Finally, lead others to a higher place. You are leaders of the American Fire Service. Your job isn't just working the streets, but paving the way for others. Your job is to tee up the ball so the next fire service leader can start where you left off and bring us further down the road towards better equipment, better techniques, and safer responses. By mentoring others, you'll be creating a life's work that will last longer than your own lifetime. Yes, there are some very good ways to remember our fallen brothers and sisters. Modeling their sacrificial lives of service is perhaps the very best way to ensure that they'll live on and be remembered forever. It's up to us to never forget, and if we forget, then the values of the American Fire Service and the highest principles of our great nation may also pass away, unnoticed and forever. For the families who've lost firefighters this year, I extend to you, on behalf of the St. Paul Fire Department, our deepest sympathy for your loss and our deepest gratitude for the contributions made by your loved one. They have built enduring values in our community, our department, and our neighborhood. They truly have left an indelible mark on our society and the American Fire Service. Thank you, and may God bless you and keep you always.